Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to talk about just what the benefit of multicolor leaders are going to be. They've already announced that they're going to be multicolored cards, and which already opens the door for leaders. They haven't confirmed it per se, but I'd be really surprised if that wasn't a thing. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So I just pretty much got color specific cards for each color. I no doubt missed some, but I just picked some that I felt were powerful. There's not really a way to search through cards by base if they have like a colored leader specific. So I just picked the ones that I remember at least. There are no doubt ones I missed, so just tell me which ones I missed. But let's start with red. So red and blue have this the Supreme Kai of Time Light's Guide. So when you play this card using Overwhelm, if your leader's card is red or blue, choose up to one of your leader cards. It gains plus 5k power for duration of the turn, then you draw a card. So this opens the door for just if you have like a blue and yellow leader or something like that. So normally Bandai is pretty much separates the colors into two, or I guess three groups. There's red and blue, green and yellow, and black. So this would be really helpful for that. And then if I think what they're probably going to start with, or they're going to have like some black and some more black and other colors, just because a lot of the black leaders are missing generic support like this card. They can't use like Supreme Kai of Time Light's Guide, stuff like that. So I think that might be like the first direction, but I can definitely be wrong. But this will be able to be run in black leaders, and generically black doesn't have like a card like this that can help him out. So there's that. And then for the so normally the most color specific cards are the extra cards. So there's like Unending Awakening, After Image Technique, Is That All You Got, Transcendent Strike. All these cards are like really powerful one-cost red cards. So Unending Awakening, you also need a Saiyan leader, but that's not like impossible. Who knows what they're gonna make, but that's a really good negate, and you also get plus 5k, so you kind of get like a Sensu Bean like effect. After Image Technique is probably like one of the best ones, especially if you want to do if this was combined with another negate, like just if you have like a red and green deck, there can be just so much destruction you can do. You can use After Image Technique. Is That All You Got? If Transcendent Strike, like Transcendent Strike with like green leaders could be really powerful. So like a red green, I could see that. But so there's that. Is That All You Got? Being able to blow up two cards by ditching a red card. I think that's really powerful. I put Jace here. So Jace works for exactly one leader. He technically works for two, but he can't be included in that deck because he's not a 4-cost or higher. So I can definitely, I put this just to remind me of like, some archetypes that already are kind of like duo colored are like the red, yellow Ginyu Force. And so that could be really powerful. So if they decide to do that, just being able to have like a red, yellow Frieza army leader, I think would be super powerful. And so Jace would be a super combo for that. And then you could put like Ginyu stuff, and I think it'd be really good. This one's a little bit of an oddball, but there's Virtuous Strength Gohan. So this card can attack battle cards in active mode, and you can also, when you KO something, you inflict 1 damage to your opponent. So that's really good. He's just like a generic 15k that is better if your leader's red. So there's that. Fearless Pan is not necessarily red blocked, but if your leader is red, it's a lot more powerful. You're able to give it plus 5k in double strike, so having a red leader for that and more options for this card to really shine is really good. Live to Fight Another Day is kind of more, this one's more fringe and generic, but so your leader card has to be a red Frieza army, and since there's so much of this red Frieza army stuff, once again, if there's a red-yellow, this could be really powerful for that, but I just kind of put that in fringe. Vegeta would also be, so Agents of Destructions, it would be a really good archetype if it was like red-blue. Since you already pretty much have to run blue for Babidi, and specifically this guy, you need to have a red-blue deck just so you can play his blue and 1, but I think I could see like a Babidi come out that's specifically tailored for Agents of Destruction, and it'd be a red-blue leader. I think that would make a lot of sense. So there's that. He isn't the one. Yeah, there's one card from last set that says specifically only red leader, and I think it's the Gogeta BR. So none of these like double leaders would work for that. But and then also Yamcha at 100%. So you also need to have an Earthling leader, but for duration of the turn, this gains plus 6k power, can't have its attack negated, and deals 2 damage to your opponent's life when it KOs a battle card. So that's really good. It's also burst 5, but I think this is like another really good 3-drop that could fit into a deck if it was like red and something else. And then lastly, we've got Triple Flash. So this also needs a red Saiyan leader. So unlike Unending Awakening, but if they do that and like split it up, this could be seen again. It's not, the errata doesn't exist anywhere besides like one blog post, and I've told them about it. But so this does need a red Saiyan leader though. So this could also be something more powerful. That becomes more powerful just because there's a Saiyan leader that is like red and like blue or something like that. So here's all the red cards. Let's switch over to blue. Legendary Flute, right? Haha, ban list. But there's actually a couple blue cards. Not all of them are specifically for blue. So I put Sensu Bean and Objection and Mafuba in this list real quick, just because these are really important blue cards that people splash blue into their decks anyways, just to be able to run these cards. So I thought to add them there, but there are a couple cards that are specific to blue as well. Dimension Magic's probably one of the big ones. This is like one of the best negates from a defense standpoint. In general, blue is really good at being control. So if you want control with another color like green, being able to have a dual color leader that's able to untap 2 after you negate an attack is really good. So there's that. There's also Spirit Sword. This is one of the new negates. It's not, it's okay. If your leader card is a blue, negate the attack, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 2 or less and return it to their hand. Normally cards with energy cost, you don't normally want to return cards to your opponent's hand, and most aggressive, because then they get their advantage back, but it could be okay. There's also Unyielding Spirit Trunks, super broken card. People kept running this card because they kept forgetting that it was specifically a blue leader, so if it'd be a one of in any half blue leader, to be honest. So there's that. Kibito Kai is kind of like a weird blue combo. It has like Jocko effects, but it's just like a weird super combo. It's not being seen a lot right now, but if you're needing to be control heavy, and if there are cards that need to be bounced out of the combo area, I could see this being played at like a 1 or 2 of. Just an interesting super combo in that regard. So it's really good against like if they're trying to like evolve a Bardock, you just play Kibito Kai and then there we go. You can just pop it and then it's gone. And also I think the then choose one card in your opponent's hand, combo area, return to the hand, and then if there's none in their combo area, draw 1. That is regardless if you're at 4 life or less. It's not a condition. If I remember the ruling right, it was a little bit tricky, but you can just play this card with no combo cost, bounce whatever the Bardock, and then if they have nothing, you can draw a card. So it has a little bit of flexibility there. And then lastly, there's Vegito. All of the deadly defenders can be splashed around, but I decided to just talk about Vegito since it was the first one and kind of like the most powerful one for a while. But if your leader card is blue and this card is in rest mode, this card gains barrier and your opponent's cards can attack your leader card. So just really powerful. And then also when you play this card, if you have 5 or more energy, you can draw a card too. So yeah, just like the OG 20k Deadly Defender, which is great. And yeah, he just has a lot of things going for him. So if he can be splashed around in more decks, I can see it being more powerful. So in general, blue's really good at being defensive and control heavy, but also offensive, like blue, come on. But just being able to have other decks be more control based would be cool. So there's that. Next, we're moving over to green. So kind of like Kai of Time, we've got Dark Temptation Toa. So if your leader card is green or yellow, you can choose one card. One of your leader cards gains plus 5k power, and then for duration of the turn, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and places it in the drop area. So this can be splashed around. If we get like an OG Broly leader that's black and green, that would be really cool. So and you could be able to run this Dark Temptation Toa. Currently, that Broly leader needs to play Mira, and I guess Mira's okay, but it's strictly worse than this card if you can play it, right? So there's that. But going into the more generic cards, Shocking Deathball, super great counterattack. It's really good, especially if you have stuff that procs when cards get KO'd. You can play this card, procs on your opponent's turn. You can play like Frieza, surprise attack, or you can get Chile's effect and make them discard a card. But really cool, really great leader. They're great defense tool for green. Next is the new Wrathful Charge. This one's okay, but if your leader card is green, negate the attack, then you may choose one battle card and place it in your drop area. If you do, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and place it in the drop area. So some okay, just like hand destruction. You have to, it's a -1, but if it's like, if you pitch one of like your Brolys, it's okay. So, but we'll see. I could see. I didn't really include a lot of them, but yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Let me just go. Let me just go do it right now, live. We're doing it live. There are a bunch of good cards that specify green, like Tragic Awakening, Kind Wish. Let's see. Let's see. I think like the Broly chain, you need to have a green Frieza army, right, and stuff like that. So we'll just stop there. But a lot of these green Frieza army cards are really powerful, but there's only 3 leaders for them at the moment. And so if there's like some green and yellow Frieza army card, a lot of these will be online. And it's I mean, a lot of people are running yellow in their Broly stuff already, so it makes sense if there's like some combination of the 2 archetypes. And green and yellow already have a lot of synergy, so I think that would be really good too. So there is the Unrealized Ambition, which can go into like the 4-drop and then the other 4-drop and just keep the chain going, but you need to have a green Frieza army. So there's that. Preemptive Strike, really good card. But it's restricted to green leaders and it's 2 green energy, so it's a bit of a steep cost, but if you get it off, it feels really good. Being able to just have your opponent tap out for a 3-cost card and then just play this is great. Or even if they're like playing a Shenron and they're trying to play it to untap 2 energy to continue their plays, you can just play Preemptive Strike and then they're like, oh, okay, my turn's done. That's great. I feel very safe, but yeah, very good card, but you need a green leader, so there's that. Paragus, which is now kind of like the contention for the best generic super combo, or as generic as we can get. So it's if your leader card is green and your life is at 4 or less, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card from your hand and send it to your warp. So just being able to dig super deep into your deck for cards you need for your combos are really great, and so Paragus is good at doing that. Next up, we've got Tragic Awakening. Let's see. If your leader card is green, Frieza Army, choose up to 1 of your energy placed in the drop area, then choose 1 Broly with an energy cost of 6 or less from your drop area and play it. Just being able to have like a second wind on your Broly cards after like the first one gets destroyed or something is really good. So kind of the tragic Broly archetype in general. So next up is Limitless Energy Android 17, a barrier blocker with 20k, which is pretty good. And when you play this card, if your leader card is green, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So just a really good, just a really solid 4-drop. It's maybe a little bit slow for today's meta, but when it came out, it was really good. And you know, in Android decks, you could play it for 3 energy and it was great. But a good barrier blocker that blows up something with no conditions is always a good card. So there's that. We've got kind of like another Deadly Defender, but Persistent Assault Krillin. So this is like generic to green and black leaders, but then if there's like more color combinations, you can make Let's Kill Krillin across the universe. You can make it in any deck you want now. So that's just my pipe dream, but this card's already half generic, so being able to continue to make this archetype work is really fun. So Kind Wish also, you just have to have a green Frieza's Army. It just wipes the field, which is great. You have to have specific 3 green, but really powerful. It's seen a lot in the Chile and Limo Wish deck because you can play it for free if you're awakened, but really good for just ignoring barrier, putting everything on the bottom of your opponent's deck and stuff like that. So really, really good card. I already kind of talked about Broly, and the last card is Son Goku Hope of Universe 7. This card's really good if you get it out. Being able to crit, triple attack, and then also blow up a card on their hand or their field is great. So a really good finisher, and then you can EX Evolve on itself, so now you have 5 attacks, and then you can just go crazy. So I really like this card. You need a green leader for it to have its full effect, but in general, I think it's a really good card. So here's some green archetypes, and so if we have like a green and yellow like Universe 7 deck, that would be great, and it would help out. And I wonder if when they do these half leaders, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they have like 2 different characters on the front and then on the back too, so it's like a team attack leader. That'd be really cool. I just literally came up with that right now. So, but that would be really cool. So it'd be like a Universe 7 Goku and Frieza leader, so they're both fighting like, maybe fighting each other at the beginning, and then on the flip side, they're fighting, like that punch when they're hitting Jiren at the end. I don't know. I'm just fanboying now. Let's go to yellow. So yellow didn't have a lot of specifically asking for yellow stuff that at least I found was worth it. So I put in a bunch of their extra cards as well. Yellow has like the best disruption cards in the game. Bad Ring Laser, Crusher Ball, Cold Bloodlust, just to name a few. And so I thought I'd just put those in there. People are splashing yellow in just to play these cards. So if you have a yellow leader that, a half yellow leader to help the archetype, I think that's really good. Time Magic is a really disruptive also. It's really good at killing combo cards. Or like if your opponent's going all in on one guy and giving it like triple strike, or just trying to attack with it a bunch of times with like the Broly yellow leader trying to untap it, you can just play Time Magic and then you win, right? They're just like, oh, I can't attack 5 times anymore and I lose, right? So really good card. I think this card's can be really splashed, and if there's like a blue yellow control deck, that would be, I think, really nasty. But there's that. Fatherly Love saves the day. That's a new one. If your leader card is yellow, negate the attack. Then if your opponent has 4 or more cards in rest mode, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. Not super great, but being if your opponent's swarming the field, and then you can just negate 2 attacks with the cost of 1, right? Not my favorite, but it's okay. It's a good card. Shugesh, oh yeah, that really good card, right? That no one should be claiming is busted. But yeah, we already have a lot of good yellow leaders. But if any card gets like blue and yellow or something, or half in like black and yellow, green, anything, you can just pop this guy in there and be like, oh, Shugesh into any crazy broken combo that I want to do. That's cool, right? But yeah, if they make multicolored leaders, I'd hope by the time they do something more for Shugesh. I don't know. I don't know. I've already made a video about Shugesh. You know my feelings. And so I also every leader color has like this the 10K, the Freak 10K. The yellow one has the just advantage of it being this no opening Son Goku. During your turn at the end of your battle, after you combo with this card, if your leader card is yellow, play this card in rest mode, and then choose up to 1 card in your life add to your hand. This used to be like the best way to awaken like in set 3, just because you can ping your life for 1 energy, and the pinging was not even restricted to yellow, so you could just get so decks that are having trouble self-awakening already, you just plop that this guy in there and get some free awakening. But if your leader is yellow, you also get to play it too, which is pretty nice. So just a generic card. It's not saying as much because there are so many self-awaken abilities right now, but I could see this being like, if I don't know, in like if you need to awaken and you're kind of more like a slower yellow deck, then and there you go. Lastly, we've got these black cards. Black doesn't have like a lot of generic things for it as well, but I just kind of wanted to jump into. I don't know why I put Supreme Five Tie in there. It doesn't make sense. Don't look at that card. But Power Burst is the first one. It's like the worst of the free negates, to be honest. I'd say like if you're running a black and something leader, you'd probably want to use the other half of that for its free negate, but it's okay. You get like some card advantage, and if you really need some 1-drop black cards, then there you go. I guess it doesn't even have to be black, but if you just need some 1-drop, there's that. Trading Gruddy Krillin, when you play this card, if your leader card is black, choose up to 1 skillless battle card with energy cost 2 or less from your drop area and play it, and then you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, gets minus 5k for duration of the turn. So that's really good, being able to play this guy and just get some free value. If you have like some skillless deck that also is another color, then that's a good idea there. Gravy, this isn't super good, but when you attack a combo with this card, if your leader card is black, choose up to 2 cards in your warp place in your drop area. So if you have some deck that's like being clever with switching between the warp and the drop area, then Gravy would be great, and you'd need a black leader for that. I put Deadly Defender Son Goku here just because the one big thing about Encroaching Darkness Demigra is that you have to have non-black battle cards. You can't play non-black battle cards for duration of the turn when you play this guy, and so when you warp into Temporal Darkness, there's like 3 cards that are worth it, and Deadly Defender Son Goku could definitely be one of the good cards, but you have to have a leader card that's black for it to, let's see, to be able to be there. But reading it, so during your opponent's turn, if your leader card is black and this card is in rest mode, your opponent cards can't attack leader cards, and this gets minus 5k power. Okay. I mean, if you just want a big old 20k with barrier, because it doesn't get the minus 5k on your opponent's turn if you don't have a black leader. That's really funny. I didn't realize that before. But but he was just like generically like, oh, Deadly Defender for free would be really great, but I can't play this in I need a black deck for all this to work. So something that's like half black would be really great. Next up, we've got kind of like these Black Mass Saiyan cards. So both of them need a black leader. This one's critical if there are 15 or more Saiyan cards in your opponent's drop area. You and your opponent's drop area when this card's attack is negated, or when this card fails to deal damage to your opponents in battle with their leader card, choose up to 1 card in their life and warp it. So this was used like the beginning of set 5 when there are a lot of like the Shenron veggie decks. You wouldn't be warping stuff around, so there'd be that, and sands are super common, so being able to cheese out a life would be great. And I guess I should start with this one. So this is from the new Power Booster that's coming out next month. When you play this card, if your leader is a black sand card, choose the top 5 cards from your deck, put them in the drop area, and then also active main for 1, place this card in the owner's drop, choose 1 black card with 19k power from your drop area and play it. So it's literally these two. And so the other one is Black Mass Sand, Splintering Mind. When you play this card, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp. When this card attacks, When this card attacks, if your leader card is black, you may choose 2 cards in your life, send it to your owner's warp, and if you do, choose 1 card in your opponent's life and send it to the warp. So if you've got 3 life and they have 1, you win the game, hooray! But this card is normally just used for generic warping stuff, and I saw people playing this with Temporal Darkness to Meager, just being able to warp 2 cards for what, 3 energy is really great, and having 3 cards out, I think that's a really big swing turn, so there's all that. But that's pretty much it for the black cards. And lastly, I just want to talk about some of the generic counters for colored decks. There are, so we've got like the Emojins, so generically, so these are good against green and yellow, especially Haru Haru. Haru Haru is awesome, being able to pretty much play a free crit, or it's even, you get an energy back, right? So if you play like 1 energy to play something for 1, then you play Haru Haru, you untap 4, that's really powerful, right? And now if just cares if your opponent's leader is green or yellow. So if it's like half green or half yellow, then you can just play this card and get a lot of free advantage, right? And so unfortunately, Protector Majin isn't super great. It's just defensive. It can be a big body, but then it can also be warped because it's got no barrier, right? RIP. But if there are just a bunch of leaders that are just happen, like it can be super easy for the meta to be over 50% part green or part yellow leaders, and then you can just main deck this and everything, and it feels like a really good card. So there's that, and kind of the same thing about Mercenary Tau and Tin Shinhan. Mercenary Tau is a little bit more specific for, I guess these guys are both more specific just because this would need your opponent to have effects that drop cards from your hand, and this one will need your opponent to have cards that untap stuff, But anyway, so it's just like if you have leaders that, so this is good for green and yellow. So if you have like a green and blue leader, you're not only opening yourself for Haru Haru for being a big pain, but you're opening it for all of these being able to proc because you have the mismatch color sets, right? And stuff like that. So it'd be interesting if they do that. My guess is that they'll probably just make colors that are already pairs with each other. So they'll probably start with blue and red leaders, and then also green and yellow, but they'll probably do some cross, and then they have probably the advantage of having a lot of good synergy, but also having like super susceptible to counter cards like these, and which they'll probably make more of as well. So but anyways, I've probably rambled on enough. I'm just really excited for the idea of being able to I'm just really excited to be able to mix and match cards like these, cards that are like generically supposed to be limited to one archetype and are now they're opening the floodgate a little bit to be able to mix and match. So yeah, let me know what you guys think is your favorite color combination for decks, and like any archetypes you're hoping they make and have color support for that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.